Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, setting up now as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. We normally start the stream with a little bit of music, but sometimes when I want to make sure we don't lose the VOD, I don't have the music on. And the reason that we don't have the music on, the reason we don't want to lose the VOD, is I have a special guest joining today via some sort of Adobe magical puppetry down there in slot 9. A little bit difficult to see, but that is AvivaKitty. But I know it takes time for everyone to join the show and to pop in, so while we wait for them to do that, I'm not going to do Aviva's full formal welcome quite yet. But Aviva, if you want to say hello so we can get a sound check, we're in the setup stage.
Howdy.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I'm going to turn that down a little bit there. You're great on your end, but I need to make sure that on my end I've got it set to pipe out at the right volume. So, okay, it looks like Snowstorm is here. If you want to say howdy to Snowstorm, that'll help me get a second check on that level.
Howdy, Snowstorm.
Okay, yeah, it looks like our volume should be about the same for each of us now. Oh, no, I'm realizing I didn't set the stream titles yet. That's a good thing that people set in Minecraft or YouTube, whatever. So yeah, this is not the craft stream for Thanksgiving, everybody. This is what happens when I don't have the music playing. Is you guys get to see live what we're doing. We're doing HermitCraft 8 live. Dang it! I did want to get a moon reading, but I'm not gonna have time to do that and do all these setup steps. So we'll do that shortly. Okay, HermitCraft 8 live. Recording a holiday tradition episode with AvivaKitty. And then in parentheses, badly drawn hermits. Like, your Twitter is of badly drawn hermits is just all one word, right?
Yeah, well, it's the actual at is like Drawn Hermits, but no one recognizes what that is, so.
Well, then I won't put the ad in there. I'll just say badly drawn hermits. There we go. Boom. So yeah, we are setting up. People are like, we don't need the title to be right. We can tell by the moon it's HermitCraft. Well, thank you for being patient. Yeah, we're gonna get the Twitch title set up too. It is the normal Minecraft time, and so I think most people probably will understand that this is gonna be a Minecraft stream. So we've got our Minecraft thing set up there now. I got to get the YouTube chat open. I actually can't see that yet. Okay. Bum. Okay, why isn't that working? Normally, I spend a lot of time singing to myself while the opening music plays, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to... Well, I am going to do that now. But you're going to hear it instead of... It's not singing to myself, I guess. It's singing to y'all. Aviva had offered to sing the theme song if I provided the lyrics, but that sounded like extra work for me, and so I did not provide the lyrics. Let me get you a green screen, though, while we're getting stuff set up. Boom. You've got a green screen now. Can you, when you wave, do your hands show up or no?
No. This is very rudimentary still.
That's okay.
I eventually want to have, add stuff, currently there's, 4 mouth shapes. The lip sync is not nearly as good as it could be. Basically, the most I could do is tilt head, and also eyebrows can go up and down.
Well, that's still pretty cool. So yeah, let me change the title of this stream. Dang it, did I copy and paste it? No, I did not. How do we spell Aviva's name? AvivaKitty or badly drawn hermits? We'll get links to all that once I get the stream title set up, because we're gonna get a lot more complaints about the stream title. HermitCraft 8 live holiday traditions with AvivaKitty. Badly drawn hermits. Okay, bum. And we're gonna set that to Minecraft over here. We're actually setting up the stream now, y'all. We're setting up the stream now. Okay, so yeah, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and post on Twitter. Oh, why didn't I copy the name of the stream? I'm so dumb. Okay, streaming some HermitCraft 8 live now with special guest Drawn Hermits. Nope, I don't know who badly drawn Ann Lewis is, but that's not you. Drawn Hermits. There we go. We're
Yeah, I would just at my normal Twitter as well, because
yeah.
if I want to
AvivaKitty.
reblog it, it's gonna take me Twitter. It would take me way long to find it.
Yeah. We'll be working on the interior. Something I can spell properly. Of the castle. And chatting about holiday traditions for my episode 18 recording. And I'll put the Twitch link in here. Twitch.tv/Joe Hills. Okay, tweet. Boom. Okay, so Aviva, you can retweet that. If anybody else wants to find Aviva or Badly Drawn Hermits on Twitter, you can find them in this tweet that I just did. Yay. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry. I know I mentioned Badger in the original stream title. That's just because Badger was here for the stream on Wednesday, and I forgot to change the title. Okay. Yay, professional Minecrafter. Okay. So, I think we are actually about ready to get going. So, here's, I'm going to go over the format for everybody out there at home. So, and I'll do my actual real introduction now. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And tonight on the HermitCraft server, y'all are my live streaming audience. Joining me via Discord is VTube version of AvivaKitty. Howdy, VTube. I don't know. How are you doing this evening?
All right, I have been quite busy, and it is nice to have designated time to just relax and have fun and chat about cool stuff.
Indeed. So tonight, y'all, we've got a few things we're gonna do. So this is actually gonna be a HermitCraft episode recording stream. Last time Aviva was here, we did an art stream where we drew together, and that was really fun. And we're probably gonna do that again. We don't have one scheduled, but I did enjoy that quite a bit. So it's gonna happen. But that's not what we're doing tonight. This is the Friday night HermitCraft recording session, and we've got two things we need to do. Because I didn't actually get to finish that episode before I left for Thanksgiving with the moon, I'm going to be getting one final moon recording, one final size reading of the moon, while we talk to, while I talk to Aviva and introduce everything here. And then we're going to start recording episode 18, which is going to be about holiday traditions. And we're going to go to Castle Hohenzollern, which Cleo and I have been working on the interior of. I say that. Cleo has been working on the interior. I'm about to start working on the interior. And when I do so, it's going to be chatting with Aviva about decorating for different holidays and celebrating different holidays. My family's tradition is Roman Catholic, and so they're always celebrating that Christmas thing that's so popular with the youths. But Aviva comes from a Jewish background and is going to be discussing Hanukkah and her family's traditions. And I think that's going to be kind of a fun way to acknowledge that the HermitCraft community is broader and I think just the word broader alone is probably a good word. Yeah, like our community is broader than just the cultures of the individual hermits, you know? There's, a couple dozen of us, but there are millions of fans all over the world and community members, and it's great to kind of showcase some of the places and people and just traditions of the community members from all over the world. And including Maryland, which is very far away to me. So yeah, let's see. We are kind of waiting on the moon, and we're kind of letting people come in, because usually the first 10-15 minutes of the stream, people are still kind of getting their drinks, getting their snacks, loading up. So we don't want to really get into the meat and potatoes of the show quite yet. Just quick question, when I say meat and potatoes, if I made a potato pancakes joke, would that be seasonally appropriate? Is that Hanukkah, or is that a different Jewish holiday?
Yes, potato pancakes are Hanukkah, but I honestly don't get why they're called potato pancakes, because they're not really pancakes.
Yeah, but they are made from potatoes.
Yes.
Do you cook them in a pan? Like fry them in a pan?
Depends on how you're making them.
Because I think the definition of a pancake is a cake you fry in a pan rather than cook in a
Hmm.
baking dish.
I
So
guess.
do you make them in the
It's,
oven?
well, you can. Well, usually you do fry them in oil. I guess I was thinking of like the way you make pancakes. For me, I would think like the definition of pancake to me is like fundamentally has batter,
Mm-hmm.
which for latkes, which are potato pancakes, they're like shredded potato sort of like meshed together.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really register as a pancake because it's just sort of vaguely the same shape.
Mm-hmm. I guess that makes sense. Um, okay, a few things for the chat. One, folks are asking if Aviva can share pronouns. I know, Aviva, I've seen you provide those differently in different contexts, and so I don't necessarily know what's up to date or appropriate in this context. What would you prefer?
Yeah. Primarily she they is what I usually go by. I also use airs as neopronouns, which do not feel under any obligation to use. But if you do use neopronouns for people, you can also use those.
Ah, thank you very much, Aviva. And another thing, people are saying that's a great VTube avatar. It's a little small. Well, if you want to see the face cameras expand, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. And Aviva is being compensated for this appearance, whether you guys tip or not. So don't feel compelled to. But, I wouldn't complain. So let's go ahead and we've got the moon coming in. I'm going to hit setting up. I'm going to take down the cameras and hit start recording. So Aviva, if you could be quiet for this segment, I guess I could mute you, but if it's kind of easier if you mute yourself. Okay, cool. So HermitCraft Season 8, Episode 17, Segment Finale 2, Take 1. Having returned from Thanksgiving, I have got one more sign here that we need to... Wait, hold on. I was thinking, because, like, November 24th was here, so, like, oh, yeah, I'm sure it'll be about here for what today is, November 26th. But... okay. Well, in terms of things that could be considered, broadly speaking, optimal, this is not that. So let me get the date on here. November 26th, 2114 Central. And then 4 from back. So 4 pixels from the back of the block. Well, this is what I get for going to enjoy a big meal. Apparently, it's not just my belt that has to loosen, but that which girds the celestial sphere. Yeah. We'll come back to this. And then I'm gonna splice in here. I've already recorded the outro poem, so I just need to kind of stand here and not die long enough for the moon to fly over me in replay mod. So we're gonna switch to third person to kind of show, like, I'll be in replay mod here. I'll do the thing where I'm like, la 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 ba 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 do 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 wa ba da ba ba da ba. I don't know. It probably would be a little bit more not terrible than that, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out roughly how much time I need. And then I like to pause after the poem. I am all netherite now. That is indeed true. So we're not using any of this audio. We're just going to take the audio I already recorded and put it over this. But we will have the moon. Whoa, look at that moon. It's so big. I actually probably should do something about that. We'll worry about that later. That's a problem for next episode. Not next episode with the Christmas and Hanukkah stuff, but the other next episode. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we have time for. Okay. So that's probably enough of that, and then I would do the outro. I don't want to actually do the outro because I don't want people to leave, because the episode's not over yet, or the stream isn't over. This is just the end of the episode. and then we're done. We are hitting stop recording. I'm going to go to sleep. Aviva, if you want to unmute yourself, you are now welcome to, and then we'll start recording our next episode.
The moon is just terrifyingly big. Like, I keep saying it, like, every time we see it bigger, it's like, oh, that is terrifying. And it just gets worse and worse.
You know, I feel like all problems, if I ignore it long enough, and then I get distracted and do something else. There's actually not an end to that sentence. Okay, and there's creepers everywhere here. Oh boy. Let's get some ender pearls out, because I did not think this part through, that there was going to be a bunch of stuff that spawned in the dark. I did manage to not get blown up while I was reading the poem, or pretending to read the poem. Okay, so we are going to get back to the castle and then start the intro for the next episode with special guest AvivaKitty, aka Badly Drawn Hermits. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this person did not donate 100 and is lying, because no PayPal tips have rolled in. So, yeah, that's in violation of the no fake tips rule, so we're going to go ahead and time them out. Tips are welcome, though, via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Oh, did Doc make a cow jump over the moon? That sounds like the sort of thing he would do. What is that in my 9th hotbar slot? That's our special guest today, AvivaKitty.
Oh, Jazzy Wolf, if you want to see what people have figured out with the Morse code, I would check out the subreddit Discord. They have like a whole channel where they've been like theorizing about stuff.
Is that a Doc Morse code thing? Because I don't think I'm doing anything in Morse code. Or if I am, it's completely subliminal. And yeah, maybe there's something inside me yearning to be free that's blinking in Morse code. But if so, I'm going to have to really review those tapes because I don't have any idea. Okay. Okay. So let's see what we got here. We got... I don't know how much Cleo's actually started doing the walls. She's done some of them, it looks like. Hey. Okay. Has she done all the walls? Because that was going to be a big part of kind of the killing time portion of this. Well, it looks like she didn't complete this part. Possibly because she ran out of blocks, in which case I'm not going to have any blocks. Nope. Okay, she did not run out of blocks. But she might have also realized that she did this wrong somehow and then just stopped before she kept doing it wrong. But I see no reason to stop. I'm going to continue doing it wrong, and then she'll be mad at me. Okay. So, okay. Having roughly familiarized myself with Cleo's progress, like, I am thinking, like, where would be a good place to put a giant Christmas tree? You know? Because you want it to be visible out the window. So, you know, maybe I fill this room with a giant tree or something. And we can talk about appropriate Hanukkah decorations, which ones are reverent to have gigantic versions of, or what would be an appropriate way to decorate for Hanukkah. Okay. So, that is not Badger in the Hotbar. That is AvivaKitty.
Howdy.
Also known as Badly Drawn Hermits, who does all sorts of fun fan art of HermitCraft and the Hermits.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
It's very funny that like that ended up sort of becoming my sort of, I guess, brand in the fandom, because it originally just started as me making, or like I had this old Twitter account for like a webcomic I was going to make and then never used. So I was like, I need to use this for something. And it was also around the time I got into HermitCraft, and I was doing a lot of just random doodles. But I didn't want to clog up my main Twitter with a ton of low effort fan art. So I decided to just put it on there. And it somehow just like exploded and became like way more like popular than even like the high effort fan art stuff I did, which is very funny. But
Yeah, I see
it's
you
just how
have
things work
about
out
1,000
sometimes.
followers on your AvivaKitty account and 3,000 followers on the Badly Drawn Hermits account.
Hmm.
You know, that's the way that stuff is sometimes. Like, there was a point where it's like, I'm doing YouTube so I can become funnier, so I can write a better webcomic. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, I've got 10 times the number of people watching my dumb YouTube videos than reading my comic that I've slaved over for years. Oh, well. We'll figure it out later. Okay. So we have got...
Yeah, I do think it is partially because it's so specialized.
Mm-hmm.
So people follow it specifically when they're looking for like HermitCraft fan art.
Yeah,
Well,
that
with
makes
my main
sense.
Twitter, it has like all the different stuff.
Well, hey...
So it ended up being like the opposite of where like I wanted to keep my main Twitter sort of streamlined, but it ended up being all sorts of different stuff. Well, this became the streamlined thing.
Um, Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think that we have our first tip of the evening. Let me pull that up. It looks like it came in from Anne. Thank you very much, Anne, for a full 20. That is going to put us evenly at our first face camera expansion. So here we go. And let me switch this over to here. So I can say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee-dee-dee. And I'm joined today by... Aviva, do you have a growing name, like the equivalent of Grow Hills?
Uh,
Like a bigger kitty? I don't know. Expando cat? Badly expanded hermits? I don't know, something. Okay, so now we are both hanging out over here in the offhand glass pane. Okay.
yeah, coming up with buttons and stuff like that on the spot is not something I am the best at, but occasionally I'll get one that I'm just like, oh, this is so good. But usually it's like 5 minutes after it's relevant.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, honestly, that's part of the joy of streaming, is that I can make what I think is the best joke ever, and somebody goes, but why didn't you say this? And then I can just be sad. But I know I'm going to grow as a person as a result. Because, you know, you never want to think you're the best at anything. I was going to say there's probably some sort of holiday message associated with that. Like, I don't know. King Herod thought he was the best at finding religiously important children, and he wasn't, and he learned a lot there, or something. I don't know. We'll come back to that. Okay, so Aviva, here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna try and just record a quick kind of rough intro, and we'll see what works and what doesn't, and we'll probably end up doing a second one. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do our test intro. I'm turning off both of our face cameras. And I'm going to hit start recording. So here we go. HermitCraft Season 8, Episode 18. Wait, you know what? Actually, hold on. It kind of is funny to have your little your little camera thing in the offhand glass pane here. I don't know. We'll try it with that. Let's just see how that goes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, take one and action. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And as you can... No, take two. I've already screwed up. Okay. HermitCraft Season 8, Episode 18, Segment Alpha... Take two and action. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And you know what? The holidays are upon us. Not just one, not just two, but maybe several holidays. Christmas is coming up. New Year's is coming up. You know, Thanksgiving just behind us. I don't know why I turned around. It's not like it's over there. But either way, I am preparing to start decorating the interior of our castle, Hohenzollern, for the holidays. Cleo has been hard at work putting in a lot of walls here, but I am joined today by HermitCraft community member AvivaKitty, aka Badly Drawn Hermits, who's going to be talking a little bit about her holiday traditions, specifically Hanukkah. I'm going to be chatting a little bit about Christmas, and we're going to be getting some decorations in. Aviva, do you want to say howdy to everybody?
Hi, howdy.
Hi, I see you're coming in loud and clear on my offhand green pane down there. Thank you for joining me via video call. I know, you have to get your makeup and your lights and everything. It's a lot of work, so I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you for inviting me.
It is a visual medium, so yeah, speaking of visual mediums, let me just walk into this wall until it's awkward, and then not know where the bed is. I'm going to switch to first-person view so that I can actually, use the bed. Okay, the moon is bigger than the castle. The sun isn't even down yet, and it's already... Okay, that's fine. We'll worry about that another day. But yeah, I was looking at what Cleo was working on here, and she had a few gaps in here. There are some spaces left to decorate, but as I go in and I start doing the mundane work of dropping in stone for these walls, Aviva, do you mind telling us a little bit about Hanukkah and just kind of summarize it? Because we have viewers from all over the world, from all sorts of different backgrounds. What is the elevator pitch for Hanukkah?
Well, Hanukkah is a Jewish holiday. It is one of the many, many Jewish holidays about someone tried to kill us, they failed, let's celebrate, pretty much.
That's a great thing to celebrate. I mean, the British celebrate that with their Guy Fawkes Day every year, too, when he failed to blow up the Parliament. Although not everybody in the UK is actually in Parliament, I've recently learned. You wouldn't think that if you only watch their equivalent of C-SPAN, because it really primarily only shows people in the Parliament. But, that's fine. So, anyway, sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So basically the story of Hanukkah, it takes place when the Greeks had conquered Jerusalem and were trying to convert Jews to their religion, basically convert them to Hellenism. And they had taken over the temple, which the second temple, which is like the big temple in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And this priest had his son and his sons, and the oldest of his son, Judah Maccabee, led a revolt against the Greeks, and were able with their tiny little army to push them back and take back the temple. But when they went to light the menorah, which is like this symbolic candle holder pretty much, they found that all the oil to light it was tainted. All the oil jugs that had the seal of the priest had been opened, except for one. Mm-hmm. So they used it, and by a miracle, instead of lasting one day, it lasted 8 days until new oil was able to be delivered.
And, for folks who are not familiar with the Maccabees, this is around, what would it be, about 600 BC, roughly?
Look, it is... I have 5 sources open. It is... Yeah, it's at the end of the 2nd century BC.
Okay, so then I was off by 400 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're gonna, we'll try that again with actual knowledge, thanks to you knowing stuff like how to cite sources. So this was about 2,300 years ago. And it's something that is still celebrated to this day by folks all over the world. And Aviva, can you tell me a little bit about how your family and your community celebrates Hanukkah?
Well, a lot of Hanukkah traditions, like most Jewish holidays, are very layers and layers of stuff. over. So the main tradition for Hanukkah is lighting the Hanukiah, which most people would know as a menorah, but there's actually a difference. There's Hanukiah is the thing with the 8 candles, 9 technically because it has the one in the middle, while a menorah has just 6 with the one in the middle, so 7 total. The menorah is the like symbolic religious one that existed before the holiday. So every night for the 8 nights of Hanukkah, you light one more candle on it, and then there's like all sorts of small traditions. Mainly it is the festival of lights. So the light is, and celebrating this, and sometimes you'll tell the story, there's a lot of songs and then also playing dreidel, which if you've ever played dreidel, it's not a very good game. It is not designed to be a game. It is designed for gambling. But yes, playing dreidel with it used to be that people play with real money because again, this was a gambling game. But nowadays people play it with chocolate coins, known as gelt. And so trying to win the most chocolate coins, though in the end we always split them up equally because when you have kids, even if one wins them fair and square, the kids are going to be upset that one gets more than the other.
Now, is that a family tradition, or is that like just a general holiday tradition? Like, do all families do that?
I don't think it's an all family thing, but definitely a lot of the families I know, or when I would be at stuff with people, no one would actually keep their winnings. We would all end up dividing it because dreidel is just such an unfair as a game. Yeah, the way it works is basically you spin the dreidel. There's 4 things it can land on. 1, you take the entire pool and you instantly win. 1, you take half of the pool. 1, you do nothing, and the other you put 1 coin back into the pool. So it can be over in 1 turn and no one else gets anything.
Yeah, I could see that not being a very satisfying game for a lot of small children. No, that makes sense. And then, so in terms of decoration, you know, as I'm preparing to decorate the castle here for the holidays, are there certain colors or decorations or things like that that are used in preparing a home for Hanukkah traditionally?
It very much varies because there isn't like traditional decorations aside from the Hanukiah. So a lot of Hanukkah decorations and traditions is basically a Jewified version of more generic holiday decorations, like putting up the like sort of traditional Jewish colors of blue and white. So doing blue and white lights or dreidel or Hanukkah themed like strings with stuff on them, and then of course the chocolate coins with the gelt. And we also do presents, which again was not originally a Jewish thing. It actually legitimately arose from Jewish children being jealous of their Christian friends who would all get gifts for the holidays and they didn't. So it started where parents would give their children Hanukkah gifts as well.
And I've heard that like some families do like 1 gift per night. Is that something that's common, or is, I mean, I could have heard wrong too, because this is your culture, not mine.
Yeah, again, it depends on the family, but that's when I was younger, that was definitely something we did where we would get, every night we would get a gift, and usually on the first night would be like the big gift, like if you got like a video game console, that would be like the big gift, and then you'd get smaller things like just some like a toy or clothes and stuff for each of the following nights.
Well, that's cool. So Hanukkah this year, it's associated with the lunar calendar, right? So it's not always the same days of the year?
Yeah, it starts on the 25th of Kislev, which is a month in the Hebrew calendar, which is the lunar calendar. And the way it works is that leap years are very different in the Hebrew calendar, where it's an entire leap month that happens every 4 years instead of a day. So it gets very disconnected from the more universal calendar. I don't remember what it's called.
Well, I think it's called the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Julian calendar, but let me check that. Because I always get them mixed up, which one came first. So... Yeah, the Gregorian calendar was introduced in October 1582 by Pope Gregory. Yeah. So yeah, the Gregorian calendar is what most of the world is using. Japan and their official documents, they still use their imperial calendar. And I'm sure there are some other places that are still using lunar calendars too.
My brother is listening to me, and he just texted me saying, correction, leap years happen 7 times in 19 years. It's not every 4 years.
I was actually thinking it would be uncommon for their traditional leap year system to match up perfectly with the recently devised leap year system in the Gregorian calendar. So yeah, I didn't want to call you out on that though. But yeah, so I'll just exclude both the non-factual part and the correction. And we're going to jump right into me saying, so Aviva, in terms of today's, commonly accepted Gregorian calendar, when does Hanukkah start in 2021?
Well, the Hanukkah is on the Jewish calendar, which is a lunar calendar. So it would start every year on the 25th of Kislev, which that does not always line up with stuff because of the Hebrew calendar is shorter than the Gregorian calendar, and the leap years have an entire leap month instead. So the way that it's calculated is very different. So Hanukkah this year is starting on the night of the 28th and going for basically 8 days after that. But some years it won't start until almost the end of December.
So it's starting, when you say the 28th, not December 28th, but November 28th.
Yep, just in a few days.
Yeah, for our viewers, it might already be happening, in which case, I believe the traditional greeting is Happy Hanukkah. At least that's what I've seen people use in English. But is there a more traditional Hebrew greeting that I could give without being, offensively appropriative?
Well, for most holidays, we say Chag Sameach, which is basically just happy holiday. And since there are so many Jewish holidays, there only are a few with specialized greetings.
Is this one of them?
No, this is just where you'd say Chag Sameach, just happy holiday.
Is that close?
Yeah. I would just say Chag Sameach. Don't try with the
Chag Sameach. Yeah, I actually did go to a Jewish preschool, but they didn't teach us Hebrew or anything. But they had a shorter wait list than the preschool at the church my parents attended. And when you're trying to get your kid out of the house, the most important thing is getting them somewhere else. But yeah,
I went to a Jewish preschool and then a Jewish elementary school, and then one of the years I was in middle school, I went to a Jewish middle school.
Very cool. Yeah, I kind of wish that they had taught us more traditional stuff. I remember there was some Hanukkah arts and crafts stuff, but I was also 3 and 4 at the time, so it's a little bit foggy for me. They could have really gone way more into detail and it still wouldn't have necessarily rubbed off or been absorbed. But yeah, well, that's really cool. So if I was gonna make one of these special menorahs, which you said is called a Hanukiah? Is that close?
Hanukiah.
Hanukiah. What would be, would it be appropriate to build a large one in our castle, or is building it large to the point of, because Minecraft scale is almost comedically large. I don't want to be disrespectful. I guess I could use maybe copper lightning rods or something with a candle on each. Would that be appropriate?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
the way that it works is that there's no, like, issue with a non-Jew owning one, but
Mhm.
it's the if you would be like lighting it every night and like doing like the prayers and stuff. If you're not Jewish, that would be kind of weird.
Okay, so like, if I just have it on display though in the build, is that acceptably respectful, as long as it
Yeah,
stays unlit?
because them themselves, especially like Hanukiahs, are not really a holy object. It's more a ritual stuff, like the same way that like it's pretty much a fancy candlestick, while a menorah is, which is the like the one that would be in the temple. Those are holy.
Gotcha. Okay. That yeah, I'll have to gather some copper and maybe I can get that started now. Time skip. Okay, Aviva, I'm gonna hit stop recording right there. I feel like we got a good solid start on all this. I'm gonna turn my camera back on. I actually, and I'm gonna make your camera bigger again so you can join me over here in the pane of glass. So yeah, I was gonna say. So I actually have a house guest who is not feeling well right now, and I need to run and get them something. So normally when Cleo is joining me on stream, the stream asks her questions about me, and she answers them poorly. Do you feel like that's something that you're up for, or would you prefer people ask you about other things in the meantime while I run and grab that?
They can ask me whatever they like.
Okay, so we're gonna have Q&A real quick with Aviva while I run and grab
No
something.
guarantee on the quality of answers.
That's the and that's part of the fun. Yeah. So I will be right back. Excuse me.
Hi, Shadow. I see you in chat. Shadow is my brother, by the way. Yeah. Reptilian says, "How are you doing today, Aviva?" Good. I was trying to work on coding for a game today and did not get much done, but I got some stuff done, so it's progress. Uh, favorite dinosaur? Hmm. I forget what they're called, but the one that looks like that people think that Nessie is. Those like the underwater one's pretty cool. Uh, what program do you code in? I'm learning C++. I am a game design undergrad. So, but at an art school, so I'm also learning it from scratch. Yes, Blaze says Blaze Brontosaurus. Yes, it's like I the Brontosaurus, but like the underwater one. Yeah, plesiosaur. I'm not even sure if it's an actual real dinosaur. I think there was like something about it not being a real dinosaur. I'm not sure. Uh, Mia says pro game dev. Yeah, I'm just a student. I am a junior, but I'm probably going to be taking an extra semester or two. So we'll see how long that lasts. Crystal says, "How long do you usually spend on pieces? I'm trying to collect other people's time to spend too much time for pieces." It really, really depends on the complexity of um of what I'm doing. Like it can vary so much. Like that comic I did that I posted a few days ago of Joe and Cleo.
That was
I'm not
great, by
sure.
the way.
Yeah. I think I spent a total of like 10 hours on that on and off. Generally like with art, like people have totally different amounts they spend on like time with pieces. I just say like when you think it's finished, call it finished. Or when you don't want to work on it anymore, call it finished. Because with that piece, like I definitely could have worked on that for like another 10 hours. But I was like, if I keep working on this, I'm just gonna work on this instead of my college work. So I'm just gonna call this finished and post it.
Yeah, at a certain point, you do need to go to class, it turns out.
Hmm.
Okay, so what is the recipe for making lightning rods? Is it just 3 ingots in a row? Okay. Yeah, that seems right. And let's see. If I was going to make these in Minecraft here, it feels like I probably also need to have them on something, you know, like, would they be on blocks of copper as well, you think? Or
Yeah, because Hanukiahs could also be flat. Um, okay, this is a very like this. Okay, so at my elementary school,
Mhm.
every year like the kindergarten teacher, would have us. We would make our own Hanukiahs like with like tile and stuff. It was basically just like flat tile, but what she gave us to use for the candle holders
Mhm.
were bullet casings from her time in the IDF, which we
Interesting.
didn't realize was extremely like weird at the time. But looking back, it's just like, oh, like they worked well, but it was just like, oh my god, just like handing these like kindergartners bullet casings to use as
I mean, they must have been very
candle
small.
holders.
Yeah, I mean, they're either very small candles or they're very large caliber rounds.
Oh, like Hanukkah candles are very small. They're very, very thin compared to normal candles.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab... I left all of my candles back here at the moon viewing place. But yeah, thank you for covering for me real quick there. And then, do you have to go on the hour or do you have until 10:30?
I'm good pretty much all night.
Okay. Cool. 'Cause, yeah, let's see. I probably want just the hydrate. Is there a traditional color for Hanukkah candles? Are they like, would they be brilliant white or like a natural tallow color?
Nope.
Or
The ones that my family have are like hand dipped with like all sorts of colors.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, would like, so if you're trying to like show this off in Minecraft,
Usually they're like completely random colors of just like whichever candles we have at the time, and they're each candle's a different color.
is that just your family or is that everybody?
That's a thing that's very common because you end up where you need like 44 candles total for like the whole thing, and you have different sets, and it becomes like there are definitely people who keep it to like they want to have it uniform.
Do you
But
light them all? Do you keep them lit all night, or do you use, or do you only light them like during the ritual and then extinguish them?
since they're very thin and small, you just light them and let them melt down, and usually within like an hour or two, they've melted down. And I know some friends who are like a bit more religious, so talk about how their family has like tradition of staying in the room and watching the candles till they're fully like melted as well, which is
I find that very appealing. That's the sort of thing that I would really like, but my like child would absolutely detest. Yeah, so I'm gonna run over to Cleo's hydrate store, and I've just straight up handed her so many diamonds. I'm just gonna grab something. That's the nice thing about sharing bases is it's like as long as the material is going inside the castle, it's not like just me running off with it to sell to Cub. I can basically borrow whatever I need.
yeah. I love the dynamic that's come from like people sharing bases this season. It's led to so much interesting stuff. Like Etho and Iskal's whole like roommate dynamic is very funny, and I very enjoyed that. And that's like not something that would have come out if they hadn't like just decided to share a base at the start of the season.
I was really shocked that everyone else was doing this because Cleo and I had been planning on doing this for months, and everybody's like, "That's I don't think that's as good an idea as you think. You're gonna end up hating each other. It's gonna be a whole thing. No, it's not very. Nobody on HermitCraft shares bases." And we're like, no, we're gonna do it. And they're like, "But what if you hate each other? And then what if you get upset? What if you get stressed out?" It's like, well, then we'll very publicly and loudly mock each other, and then go move away from each other. And that's just another episode. That's just more fun for the viewers, is seeing that sometimes friends shouldn't be roommates. And that's true in real life, Sometimes, but the thing is, sometimes friends can be roommates, and we're just gonna do it, and we're gonna see what happens. And like everybody challenging us over it, I think we just slowly convinced them all that this was the best idea. And then what shocked me is that none of them ended up moving out from each other. Like there were parts of the continent that, like the area south of me here, where the moon observation territory is, was like one of the like reserved spaces for people to flee to if they had a falling out with the people they lived with. Okay, so I need 9 candles. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the way it works is that every night you light the shamash, which is the one in the middle that's higher up than all the others. It's not always in the middle. It can also be at the end. Basically, the shamash is the one you light every night, and then you use that to light all the other candles. And then on the first night, you have one other candle, and then each successive night, you light an extra candle. So it'd be first night's 1, and then the second night you'd light 2, and so on.
And I'm gonna probably ask you to re-summarize some of this once I get this built, just so you know. And like this is something I explained to Aviva earlier, y'all, is that like when we do this show normally and it's just me, a lot of times I'll kind of talk y'all through what I'm planning to talk about, and then I'll actually talk about it in the recording because it like helps me mentally warm up and organize my thoughts. And so if you're like, hey Joe, how come you're having Aviva explain the same thing on camera? Well, because it helped me kind of figure out what she needed to say and what I needed to ask, and it helps us kind of have a good flow for the recorded segments. Okay, so this is going to have to be 9 blocks wide. Sorry, go on.
My brother texted me again. It's so funny. He keeps like putting in, but he wanted to point out that Hanukkah, at least what he thinks, is the least important holiday. And yeah, I do want to point out that Hanukkah is not an important holiday. It is not something like mentioned even in the Torah, which is the Jewish Bible. There is the book of Maccabees, the 2 books of Maccabees, but those aren't like a canon part of the Torah.
Yeah.
It happened afterwards. And I'm going to push him on the point, and I think Purim is the least important holiday rather than Hanukkah. But
there's a
despite
hot take.
that, Hanukkah is still one of the most widely celebrated holidays. And that, again, is because of its coinciding in timing with Christmas. Because, again, like a lot of Hanukkah traditions have been picked up from Christmas to sort of be the Jewish version of that. Despite the holiday itself not having relative importance compared to other Jewish holidays, in order to mostly satisfy Jewish children and make them not feel left out, and over time that's evolved into what it is today.
So so you mentioned that it's okay for these things to be relatively flat. I'm gonna build this out real quick, where we just have 9 copper blocks with 9 lightning rods. And we just put the candles on top, and that's...
Yeah, one of the lightning rods would have to be taller than the other, but then that is a totally valid Hanukkah.
I'm assuming the middle one is the tallest, or no?
It could either be the middle or the or one at either end.
Okay. So I need to go make a taller lightning rod here.
I actually really like this style of Hanukkah, because like the one you see in the media is the one that's shaped the way the menorah is.
Yeah.
But again, really the only thing that makes it a valid Hanukkah is like sometimes they aren't even connected. It's just you need 8 candle holders. You need 9 candle holders, and one of them has to be taller than the other. That's the only thing that makes it, and then it's just easier for them to all be connected.
So, do I need a sign on here that says ritual candles, only Jewish people light these? Or something, so that B-dubs doesn't roll in and go, what are all these candles? They're not even lit! What Joey Cleo are the laziest hosts ever? Or something.
I think it's totally fine to have them lit. It's more going through and like performing it as the ritual that's the part, because there is like a weird thing with like some people, some Christians like celebrating Hanukkah, which is like, if you want to celebrate it with your Jewish relatives and celebrate as a Jewish holiday, that's fine.
Well, and I will
But
say,
like,
like, there are some Christian sects that have the Book of Maccabees as well. Well, actually, they have two
mm-hmm.
books of Maccabees. They're Maccabean all over again. But like, it's one of the so yeah, but it's kind of not considered a traditional Christian holiday, and so yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, especially because yeah, with the timing of it, and it's very specifically that they were trying to get rid of Jews in this time, because it was Antiochus the Third who was the one who is the ruler. It was this secluded empire. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right.
I'm not sure that's the right word. You're not trying to say secular, right?
No, it's
Okay.
was one of like the Greek empires. It was the one that like ruled over Syria
Well,
at the
because
same time as Politaic Egypt. It was like at the same time as that.
I feel like the Romans were rolling in around this time too.
Yeah,
Like, and
was
my history on this era, Seleucid Empire.
yes, Seleucid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not like directly spoken to people about this out loud in years. Like a lot of the discussion I've had in the past few years has been through text. So,
Rafael
yeah.
Romero says the Roman Catholics have the first two books of Maccabees, and they're not a sect. They're the largest branch of Christianity. Okay. So the thing is, Raphael, I wouldn't necessarily call the Catholic Church a sect on its own, but there are some random offshoots of Protestantism that also might include those books randomly for whatever reason. And
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to collectively refer to Roman Catholicism and a few other weird offshoot branches, I'm probably going to use the word sects as the plural. Like, that's not me trying to insult Roman Catholicism. That's me just trying to find the best word to include, like, a grab bag of small things along with one big thing. So no disrespect was meant there. Although actually, maybe it was. Maybe that was me actively disrespecting those smaller groups. But my disrespect was not aimed at the Roman Catholic Church in this sense, which seems to be what you're sensitive about. So I think you and I are good, and we'll let everybody else be mad at me. Okay.
Light Jen point out in chat that says at MIT there was an oil menorah made from test tubes. Yeah, like I love just like the creativity with this, because like, so again, since it being like relative compared to a lot of other Jewish holidays, a newer holiday, like one that came after the Torah and sort of came after like Judaism was sort of codified, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more freedom in what is like what people do, because like the core tenet of Judaism is arguing in debates, pretty much. There's this adage that for every two Jews you have three opinions, and so much of like what is recorded is different rabbis differing opinions, and then you decide as yourself like which you believe and which interpretation you want to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely like a lot of different stuff of like what people think like constitutes a thing. So, but with the newer holiday is such relative again, with the way menorahs are, like people go a bit wild with it, and it's very fun, like sort of stretching the that you can just stretch the definition of what that is. Like I think one of my favorite, this is a different holiday for Sukkot. This sukkah, the what defines a sukkah is it just needs 3 walls and a roof that you can see through, pretty much, but it needs a roof. So there is all sorts of crazy things. I think one of my favorite things I saw was someone made 3 glass walls and just a giant log as the roof. There's It's very fun what people come up with.
Well, and that's one of the fun things about loosely defined things. Like it's like as long as it can hold 9 candles, and one of them's higher than the others, it counts, and people can really go interesting ways artistically and engineering wise and creatively.
Yeah, like especially the fact that like I got to make it as like a kindergartner, and those ones that I made are valid to use as them. And they don't need to be like specially crafted. Well, there's definitely all sorts of stuff in Judaism where like they need to be specially crafted. With Hanukiahs, you can just make one, and it's great.
So if I was going to put a sign next to this, because sometimes hermits roll through and don't know what stuff is, and sometimes we have a world download or whatever, which probably won't be for a while. But like I like to label my builds, right? So if I say Hanukiah, I feel like the word artifact here is misleading or oddly specific in the wrong ways. But like if I said this is a symbol of hope in Judaism, would that be correct? Or how would you describe this in like space I could fit on a Minecraft sign?
Huh. See,
maybe a commemorative symbol of Jewish resilience.
Yeah, or something maybe about it for the being part of the Festival of Light, which is what Hanukkah is.
Yeah. Hanukkah, a ritual candle holder?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
For the Jewish festival of... Okay, yeah, we don't have a... Ritual candle holder. How far can I get into candle holder? Not very. Man, these signs are really bad. IKEA.
You could always put 2 signs, just have one below it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, I could always write 2 tweets, Aviva, but like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna delete the first one 8 times before I give up and admit that. Yeah. Ritual. Does candelabra fit? I think it's technically a candelabra, right?
I don't know what defines a candelabra, so
it's a English word that means candle holder.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
We can make sure. Is a Hanukkah a candelabra? Let me Google this just in case some rabbis have very strong feelings about this, right?
There's probably some debate out there somewhere.
Yeah, okay, so it is a 9-branch candelabrum. Can I fit candelabrum? Because candelabra is the plural, apparently. Yeah. Ritual candelabrum for the Jewish festival. Oh my gosh, I cannot type. Of lights. Boom! Look at that. Look at that. We got it. Boom.
There we go.
Candelabra is any candle holder for several candles. Candelabra is a candle holder for a single candle, and I'm missing an E. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I am. Okay. So we're gonna do that again.
Yeah, it's also just the Festival of Light, not lights.
Light.
Though, at least that's how I learned it. I have seen people say lights, but
of light. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check if we got any tips that we need to acknowledge. Doesn't look like it. Folks are welcome to. I was gonna copy and paste the PayPal link, but instead I just had the word Hanukiah because I have been googling that. Did I actually spell this right before we start recording? Let me check my candelabra, Hanukiah, ritual candelabra for the Jewish Festival of Light. So Aviva, this feels like it's appropriately decent. Okay,
I would definitely say. So there's probably someone who would say no, but again, there's so many differing opinions.
My big concern is that, like, I do a lot of comedy and I do a lot of making fun of things, and this is not a joke to me, and I don't want it to give the impression like this is, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to do like the multicolored candles, if that would be maybe viewed as too flippant almost. You know what I mean? Like, I want this to look nice. I am worried that the candles don't show up great against the sandstone background, but you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna go get some white candles. I'm you say that, but I'm like, no, the white candles will show up better now that I'm doing this. Shadow says light with no S. Okay, so yeah, some people do clearly care, and I did adjust that. So yeah, let's go get some more candles, and we'll clean this up, and then we'll do another recording segment. Hey, thank you, Snowy Zoroa, for the raid. I'm joined today by AvivaKitty, who is talking to us about Hanukkah and holiday traditions.
Howdy.
Sorry, say again?
Yeah, it just said howdy. I just got a notification from a friend.
Oh.
It says, my friend just said, the jump scare I just had seeing you on Joe's stream. I guess I didn't tell them.
Oh, people are like, why is Aviva there? Y'all know Aviva is cool, right? And cool people get invited to stuff. Like, I don't know. Light Jen says blue is a typical color used during Hanukkah.
Yeah, basically, the colors used for pretty much most Jewish stuff is white and blue.
So, like, would that be like this dark blue, like these, or more the light blue?
Either, but I think more the dark blue.
Okay, yeah, let's.
It's more a deep blue than an aquamarine.
Sounds good. Well, let's go ahead. And this is part of the iterative nature of HermitCraft, is we're always revising things. Always getting things done. Okay.
There's a special, like, there's this very specific blue color. There's a name for it, but I don't remember. That that's used to dye the tzitzit, which are like the sort of like fringes on a talit, which is like sort of like the ritual thing that you wear. A Jew wears like during prayer. That this, like, the way to make this dye has been lost, so we don't know what the actual exact color of it is.
Oh, that's
but like the recreations of it are more of like a dark blue. Yeah, it's a snail blue because it was made from a specific snail that does not exist anymore.
Or if it does exist, we don't know about it. Howdy, Pearl. Sorry, Pearl just joined the game. I realized that your stream is like 15 seconds behind me, and so you might like Pearl didn't just walk into the room. She's not like here in Nashville.
Yeah, Shadow's saying with the blue and white candles used in Havdalah. Yeah, there's Havdalah, which is like at the end of Shabbat, which is like basically Sabbath on Fridays at the end. There's a tradition of like using a braided candle at the end that's like a braided blue and white. It's like multicolored. So that's a color that's like a candle that's like a specific color. But yeah, for Hanukkah, it's very much whatever candles you got usually.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just like I said, I don't want it to look like it's a joke, you know? And, like, that looks kind of formal. Honestly, copper is probably the most valuable substance on the server at this point. So, yeah, okay. I should probably wax that, but I'm too lazy. Well, I'll come back and do that. He says, going to see if there's wax in any of these chests. Yeah, because I don't want to... Like, oh my gosh, Cleo had a bajillion of these normal white candles, apparently. That's this is not a shulker box. You'll see it in a minute. I've been clicking on this block of orange concrete.
Yeah, I see it now.
I'm like, why isn't this opening? Cleo, how did you enchant this? Does it prevent me from using it? Yeah, so we are looking for beeswax real quick, but I know I can just go grab some from the bees. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll record something showcasing what we've got. Where's my trident here? Oh yeah, whoops. Somehow the green screen got off my offhand. Quick reminder, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Do I think that Cleo placed the block knowing that I would keep clicking it? No. I think she was tired.
I see a chat saying, could you not use it at all if you don't have one but still maintain the tradition? You can... Yeah, you don't... Like, if you want to use it, you just need to have the 9 candle holders, or you can...
Yeah, because in theory, as I understand it, you could take, like, a board and put 9 candles on it, and it would technically count, you know, from a ritual standpoint.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think it's not as important to have the candelabrum as to have the candles. And you could fix the candles in anything that would hold 9 candles. Space Dorito 49 says, I heard Aviva was here. I wanted to come say hi. Well, hi, Space Dorito.
Howdy, Space.
Glad you could join us. I am just running around Cleo's place, borrowing stuff for the inside of the castle. But,
yeah,
you know,
I've seen a Hanukiah that was like a circle of candles with a shamash in the middle, which just seems awful because you have to take the shamash out and use it to light the other candles. So if you're putting it back in the end, you have to put your hand like in the flame, like right above the flame to put it back. So you do have to think about that logistics of where you place it.
Yeah. Raphael says the humbler it is, more accurate. I mean, maybe in some ways, but like the thing is, though, it's so broadly defined as a specification that like doing it more ornately isn't necessarily more wrong either. You know, like that's part of the fun things about loosely defined religious specifications is you can really kind of make it your own.
Yeah, the one that we have that's my mom's is like really pretty and nice, but it's also covered in years and years of melted wax. So yeah, eventually you do need to like fully clean it off. Actually, recently, she like completely polished our old Shabbat candle holders. It's Shabbat, like again, like the Sabbath, where you have the 2 candles that you like light every Friday night, and these are like 100-year-old candle holders that have been like passed down through I think my dad's family. That she polished them and they look like almost brand new. So I think we eventually need to do that with our Hanukkah because it is just covered in years of wax. Like every year at the end, I'll like go in and like scrape out the wax from inside the candle holder parts, and there's just like so much in there.
So I think that we have this. I've just waxed the whole thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my camera, and I'm gonna slip you back down. Oh wait, hold on. We just got a tip via PayPal. Let me read that real quick. Charlie. Hey Charlie, thank you so much for the 15. I appreciate it. Charlie says, as a Jewish person who watches HermitCraft, thank you for doing a holiday stream like this. It makes me super happy to see allies with influence discussing and acknowledging Jewish holidays. Hey, glad to help in whatever small way I can. And obviously, Aviva's doing the real work here. So thank you, Aviva, for joining me. And thank you, Charlie, for supporting the show. That puts us 5 away from the next face camera expansion. And tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Somebody says, can you wax lightning rods? I don't think that they decay, do they? Or corrode?
I don't think they do.
We can try it. Well, that just got rid of the green screen that was in my offhand. Okay, so the wax does not interact with the lightning rod. We learned that. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in my offhand. And we're going to go ahead and shrink Aviva back down to joining us via satellite mode in the thing here. I'm going to turn off my camera. I'm going to start recording. Okay. So let me switch to... I'm going to move Aviva over a little bit more. Properly sized inside of there. Well, Aviva, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, yeah, I didn't do the marker. HermitCraft Season 8. Episode 18, Segment Bravo, Take 1, and Action. Well, Aviva, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about the Jewish tradition of Hanukkah. And I've constructed a Hanukiah here in the... I don't know what room this is technically in this building. But, you know, I'm thinking that I was going to put the Christmas tree in this big tower here adjacent to it. So, you know, we'll have a little bit of holiday kind of decor kind of in this corner here. Yeah, that wasn't really a question. I'm going to do that again. Take 2. Oh, my gosh. Okay, look. Yeah, it's fine. The whole point of editing is you don't have to be good at this stuff. You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. We are back from our time skip, and I have constructed a Hanukiah, a ritual candelabra for the Jewish Festival of Light. I have labeled that so B-dubs doesn't roll in here and just start lighting things on fire going, what is this? Why are these candles not lit? I need to see. I'm getting old. I can't read the newspaper anymore. I wouldn't even have a newspaper if I wasn't so old. They should know that. But, Aviva has informed me that as long as we don't go through any motions reading out ritual text while lighting this or whatever, having this here is a welcoming thing for Jewish members of the audience and should not be viewed as disrespectful. Is that roughly correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It is very much just a object used for ritual rather than anything holy.
And it's important, you know, when you're learning about other people's traditions to kind of find out ways that they feel comfortable with to include them, rather than trying to say like, well, I'm putting a Christmas tree here, so I want you to feel included, so I'm going to put your thing here. It's like, well, maybe that thing isn't for you to put somewhere. And so, you know, in any situation like this where you're trying to be inclusive, make sure that you talk to folks who are from that background and can help make sure that you're doing a good job and not a bad job, because you can't tell. That's right, you can't. So anyway, what I really need to do is ask Aviva questions so she knows when to jump in. So Aviva, before I start kind of wandering around here, adding more walls and decorating a little bit, talking about my traditions, is there anything else you want to share about Hanukkah?
Well, sorry, my mind just sort of blanked there.
No. You know, here's the thing: is so a soft cut here. If you want to go, that about covers it, then I would thank you. But I didn't warn you about that. Once again, I don't have a lot of guests on the show. I'm new at this. This is me being bad at this and learning, right? You know. So yeah, let me try that again. I'm going to do this maybe slightly differently. Aviva, thank you for sharing so much about Hanukkah with us. And I'm so excited to have something that makes this place more welcoming for folks from all over the world. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you go?
I mean, that's pretty much it for what I have to say for now. But there's, of course, plenty of stuff that I didn't talk about. But I would encourage people, if they want to know more, there's plenty of stuff to research out there, and plenty of Jews who would be willing to tell you all about it if you just went and asked.
Yeah, well, to quote Reading Rainbow, or learn more at your local library. But yeah, thank you so much, Aviva. It was fantastic having you. Happy Hanukkah, and keep adventuring. Do you want to say Happy Hanukkah? You can say Happy Hanukkah.
Oh,
or you can say
Happy Hanukkah.
What's the actual thing you're? Yeah. No, well, I was just talking over. Or what was the thing? Hag
Sameach.
Yeah, let me try that again. Well, I know it's getting late, so thank you so much for joining us. Hag Sameach, Happy Hanukkah, and keep adventuring.
Hag Sameach.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording there. Aviva, I think that turned out great. Did you have any concerns, or was there anything that you feel like we need to go back and cover? Now that we're not recording, you have a second to think. You don't have to answer right away, because I need to frantically run to the bed and then turn the cameras back on and do all that. So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to bring your camera size back up to mine. And we are 5 away from the next face camera expansion. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat.
Yeah, I think good. Like, of course, like I'm thinking there's like stuff I could go on and on about, and like all sorts of little details. But I think definitely for a brief overview, that was good.
Yeah, and like I said, my target was to get about like 7 minutes, and I think that'll be. I think we got that. And like, yeah. So we'll, I'll roll in and build a Christmas tree and kind of, I don't know, talk about my family stuff. I don't know. It's weird because it's like I'm not particularly religious, so I feel kind of weird talking about religious traditions and secular interpretations of them without being, I don't know, disrespectful to the people who care more deeply than me. But I don't know that. So maybe we won't do that at all. Maybe we'll just talk about Judaism, and this will be, oh my gosh, that's an intervention or a very short episode. Yeah, Hanukkah is referred to as a festival of light. Rude's World says, why is that?
Well, basically, because in the story, the whole like celebration was that the lights on the menorah lasted for all this time while like waiting for the oil to be delivered, because basically the thing to like keep the temple kosher, for lack of a better word, it required the menorah to be lit at all times. So it was a miracle that it was able to be lit for all 8 days until they got more oil.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for revisiting that. And, oh no, I just realized I've been on Top Chat on YouTube this whole time. So sorry, guys, if there was a bunch of people spamming on YouTube. My bad. Rose Wolf asks, are there certain colors associated with Hanukkah? And I know that you've answered some of these questions before, but for the folks just coming in, sometimes it's helpful to recap as we start to close out.
Yeah, just very much blue and white, like most Jewish holidays. There aren't really any like specific colors associated with specific holidays. It's more the colors that are associated with the religion as a whole.
Alrighty, so I'm going in here and I'm posting twitter.com/BeDrawnHermits and twitter.com/AvivaKitty, so y'all can learn
Thank you, NJ.
more about Aviva and her art, which is fantastic, fun stuff. I'm hoping to have Aviva back to do an actual art stream where we draw together. Just my schedule is a crazy mess right now because I got a pinball machine like a month and a half early. And so now I've got to figure out how to get this pinball stream into my schedule. Like, but yeah, one of those things like, okay, let's see what we got here. So I think I'm about ready to wrap up for the night. Thank you so much for joining us, Aviva. Let's see what is going on out there in the rest.
Is Impulse still doing his 24-hour charity stream?
He is, and I usually raid my friend Manu Smith, who does a Mystery Pinball Theater on Friday nights, but he hasn't started streaming yet, and I'm too tired to keep streaming because I've had a lot of travel and stuff today. So we're going to go ahead and raid Impulse, but maybe I'll see some of y'all later at MPT3K. So we're going to raid Impulse SV. When you get there, say howdy, y'all. Joe Hills and AvivaKitty raid here. Ooh, that's a special one. AvivaKitty raid. So, alrighty. Aviva, any final words for the audience?
I'm good. Thank you again for inviting me to this, Joe.
Well, it was fantastic having you. Thank you. You're more than good. You're great. And until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. Do 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 do.
Bye.